What's up, brother? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, nice to see you too, bro.
Good to see you, brother. First, man, I want to say congratulations, man. I talked to Karina at the press conference. I saw you guys are expecting again. Obviously you have Chloe. I wanted to specifically ask you. You obviously had Anthony first. He's a boy. Like you got to kind of you're a man. You got to kind of be rough with your boy. And Karina was telling me that Chloe, she sees you very like more gentle with her and kind of like, I mean, she's a little girl, right? So like explain to me just kind of like what, as a man, how that's maybe changed you, having a little girl around and now having to protect her, in this world we're in.
It's probably made me even more of a hardworking man than I already was. With my son, with boys, you kind of be tough with them, teach them how to be a man. And with my daughter Chloe, it's just kind of like I just want to give everything to her. You know what I mean? And I'm I'm the person, or she's she calms me down, and it's father-daughter relationship. You know what I mean? So it's just a beautiful thing, man. Honestly, the way my daughter makes me feel when I come home at night, it makes all the hard work I do really worth it. Her and my son and my wife. You know what I mean? So I'm just very happy with the way where I'm at in my life. It's kind of like it's made me way more focused. To the point where now it's just boxing and family. So I feel like now that my life is really in order, I feel like I'm in the best moment that I've ever been in my life. Spiritually, physically, mentally. That I feel like right now this is the reason why I'm going so hard because I can't be stopped right now. There's
Mhm.
just something like a hunger inside of me that I want to provide for my family, and then I want to take over the sport of boxing. So I'm just mentally and physically, man. This is the best I've ever been in. I'm very happy with the way everything is, and now that we got this big fight February 1st, like I said, I wasn't running from anybody. I've never been scared of nobody. So I think this fight is going to show everybody why I'm the Mexican monster and why a lot of people are ducking me because I just have a whole completely different fire burning in me, and I'm going to show the people that February 1st.
Yeah, man, I can't wait for this fight is incredible, man. It's a really, really great fight. Before we get to that, I want to talk about, I remember hearing stories about like you sparring like these killers like heavyweights even a wild card like obviously Kelly Pavlik, Triple G, these guys. And I remember, like, tell me one of the first times that your dad put you in against someone. Your dad told the story about you were three, you sparred against a 6-year-old. When was the first time you remember kind of your dad being like, all right, like spar this guy, and you being like, are you sure about this? Or you like, or were you always like, all right, like you said I could do it, so I'm gonna prove I could do it.
Yeah, so I was basically like that my whole life. My dad was always putting me into the deep ends, but that's how I learned to swim. Some people learn to swim in the deep ends, and fortunately for me, that I had a heart of gold, and I was just never going to give up. You know what I mean? It was hard, it was really hard, but that's why I feel like I'm so advanced right now because I've been in there with world champions. I've been there with the top tier fighters. My whole career, even since I was 14 years old. When I first went to the wild card, I was sparring grown men that were big and strong, and heavyweights that are decorated, amateurs from the Olympics, world champions. So I've kind of seen it all, and that's why I'm so confident in my career today because I've seen every style, and I've given everybody. I basically gave them the work, you know what I mean? And I've always there's never been nobody that I've went up against that's really gotten the best out of me. With all respect, everybody I've been in the ring with, I've got the best of, and that just lets me know that the love and the hunger that I have for the sport, it's unmatched. Because I know I've been in there with the best already, and I know what I could do to the best. And now that I'm getting older, I'm growing and I'm learning, and I'm becoming, more. Um, I know who I am now. You know what I mean? I'm not distracted about bullshit. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm 100% focused. So that's why I know that there's not going to be nobody that stops me because I'm 100% here. And I'm very excited to show the people what I'm made of because this is what I've been waiting. I've been waiting for this my whole life. Not this particular moment here, but I already knew that once I turned into 28, my prime, I was going to get in my prime, and that's when the best was going to come out of me. So next month I turn 28. So like I said, like I told you guys, welcome to the David Benavidez era.
Yeah, man. It's been a long time coming, I feel like. Your first fight at 175 against Alexander Vazdek, I believe you said you strained like some tendons in a hand like a couple weeks beforehand. Obviously, the other hand I think got hurt during the fight. Obviously you're good to go now. Just kind of talk to me about like the mental process of, I mean, it's your hands, these are your weapons, right? Like the rehab, like when do you realize like, okay, I can punch hard now? Are you, when you start hitting the bag again, are you kind of doing it live? Kind of like walk me through the mental process of getting to where you are now, where you're like, I'm good.
So the fight, now we can speak about this because I don't think I've really cleared all this up. When I fought, I was very excited, getting ready for the big fight. I think it was like 7 weeks into the camp. I threw overhand right and I ripped this tendon here. I went to the doctor and they're like, it's gonna take 6, 7 weeks to heal up. I'm like, bro, I don't have that. Like, I don't have that. So I'm already kind of stressed about that. So we don't pay no mind. We go to the left hand. We're working the left hand. I think first two weeks. So I think we get into week 5, and I throw an uppercut at a guy, but I hit him at the top of the head, and the shit starts swelling up. So now I got this hand injured, and I got this hand injured. So what am I gonna do? I can't just stop throwing my hands. So I was doing shadow boxing for like 2 weeks, and I couldn't even do weights. I couldn't do anything. Everything was fucked. So I go. When I finally get back in there, my hands feel a little bit better. Not 100%, but I think we're at week 4. I do my first 12-round sparring session. You know what I mean? I spar 3 guys. I do really good. Then towards the last 10 seconds of round 12, I start to go back. A shot gets through. It hits me. It cuts me. I have to get 13 stitches. So I'm just like, by this point, man, I'm completely stressed. And you know what I mean? But we still made the decision to go for it. You know what I mean? I said, fuck it. A lot of people were really looking forward to seeing me on the card, Gervonta Davis. So, I could have done my own main event, but I feel like this is a treat. That's the only reason why I agreed to it, because it was a treat for the fans, and it's something that they've been wanting to watch. 2 great fighters on the same night. So I couldn't let the people down, and I think that speaks volumes about my character. Even when I was in the dressing room, I felt my hands swelling up. So I was basically handicapped to fight, you know what I mean? But against a great fighter, I win 9 out of 12 rounds, throwing great combinations, landing even 50% of my power shots. So it was a good experience for me because I got to see who I was. You know what I mean? I got to really block everything out of my head and say, I don't care about the injuries. I don't care about none of that. We're still going to win. So that I needed that for myself to see who I really was. And, you're going to get criticism here and there, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, for me to do that to that dude with 2 injured hands, that speaks way more about my character than anything. So I'm happy I took the fight. And, like I said, it was hard. I was basically handicapped to fight, but we still went in there. We looked dominant and we got the victory.
Yeah, and your hand's good now. You're back.
Oh yeah, my bad. I forgot to answer that. So the hands now, they told me after the fight I needed like 2 months a break, and it's been way past that. I didn't do anything for like 3 months, and we're sparring now. We're doing mitts. Everything is good. The hand is 100% healed up, and we're working more therapy on the hand. You know what I mean? So that's a good tip for you guys too. If you guys don't want to injure your hands, get started on the therapy now. It's really important. But I'm very excited, bro. I'm very motivated for this fight. I feel like this is a perfect time to make this fight happen. My first fight at the T-Mobile Arena, so I'm definitely looking to show up.
Yeah, that kind of goes into my next question. I feel like the last time I felt you really like you've always worked hard, but maybe like mentally was stimulated was, maybe Caleb Plant, right? Because you didn't like him. You guys had like this issue for a few years. This fight, I feel like, yeah, you guys kind of talk trash face to face, but you kind of dabbed him up after the face off. You know what I mean? Like I never would expect you to dab up Caleb. You know what I mean? Like how is the drive different? With being that it's competitive, like it's obviously it's always been competitive, but you dislike Caleb, right? Like, so that drive is different than, so maybe this guy where maybe you don't dislike him, but you want to show him who's dominant.
Yeah, so this fight, it's different, but not really so much different. The thing about it, bro, is I don't like none of these guys in that fight. I don't like anybody, basically. But with this guy, the difference between Caleb and this guy is the energy was different. Caleb stood his ground. You know what I mean? And he wasn't fucking around. He didn't like me the whole fight. I didn't like him the whole fight. When I seen David Morrell, I stood my ground, and you know, I think he's kind of nervous because he came up to me after, he dapped me up, and then his people, like, you know, be like, oh, no love lost, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, bro, I don't give a fuck what type of mindset you're on. I'm gonna try to break your fucking face. That's
Right.
how it is. If you want to shake my hand, it's good. You can shake my hand. It's not gonna take anything away from the fact of what I'm trying to do to you. So I feel like it's really with me, it's really whatever you want to do. Somebody tries to act hard at me, they want to reciprocate that energy. But you know, at the end of the day, I really don't want to make a big deal because sometimes we go out there, we're with our family and shit, you know what I mean? So it's kind of a little bit too much. But like I said, if he's cool, we're cool. You know what I mean? If he wants to get in my fucking face, I'm gonna get in his face too. So it's really just whatever they want to do. But nothing's gonna change when I tell you I'm gonna break his fucking face. That's what I'm gonna do.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I obviously you have the WBC interim. He has the WBA regular, I believe. You know, you were the mandatory right for Canelo for a few years, I feel like. Have you gotten any guarantees from the WBC that, you know, in this weight class, now that you're still kind of, you know, paying the sanctioning fee, you holding their belts up and that stuff, have you gotten any guarantees from them that, you know, they'll push for whoever it is, right? Better be a Bivol, whoever it ends up being once you're
I
done?
mean, I really don't try to even think about that no more. But honestly, if somebody, what I've learned about in this sport of boxing, if somebody doesn't want to fight you, there's nobody to force them to fight. And that's really just how it goes, bro. So for what I'm doing, man, I'm just trying to collect as much titles as I can. You know, I'm very excited because David Morrell has the WBA belt. I've been wanting to get my hands on that for a while. So the move is, if I was already, you know, the number one contender having the WBC, having the WBA and the WBC, then you know it should be no problem. You know what I mean? But from what I learned is sometimes these fights are a little bit harder to make than it would have seemed. So like we're just gonna keep going. We're gonna keep being the best fighters, and whatever opportunities we get, we're gonna be 100% ready for whatever.
Right. Well, this is a huge fight, so I feel like you're the next guy in line, other than the champions, right? But Bivol and Beterbiev. You know, obviously, you've Canelo at one point was saying the same things you were saying now, right? You want to fight the best. You know, he said that whoever the best is, you tell him who that is, and he'll face him. You know, I asked him recently about that. You know, and that obviously that guy now is you, and if his motivation has changed, you know, and he just you've heard him talk about you. He says, you know, like he doesn't, you know, he's not afraid of you, you know, just kind of show him the money, right? Do you take the fact that he's asking for 200 million as a compliment, you know, being that you're that guy? Do you maybe empathize with him and that, you know, in 7 years you're going to be that guy, right? The guy, the Hall of Fame guy, the Hall of Fame career, and you know, now we're asking you to fight the 27-year-old killer. Like, do you, I don't know, how is it that you feel about that, like from his end? Do you kind of understand it, or are you just maybe more like frustrated, like, look, if you're at the top, fight the best guy, and that's what it is?
To be honest with you, I believe 100% he's scared of me 100%. Because if you think about it, right? So they try to negotiate, I think, PVC with like 60 or 70 million, something like that. This is before pay-per-views. If you see a guy, like if I seen David Morrell and he said I'm scared of, if I'm scared of him and they're trying to pay me 70 million to fight him, how the fuck would I not take that fight? What is the problem? You know what I mean? If you say they're the best, why not fight? Why would you want to fight 4 other fights to get to that amount of money when you could just fight one guy? If that guy ain't shit, if he's overweight, he's a fucking drug addict, this and that, all the things that they say about me, why would you not go pick up that bag with that guy? Dude, because these dudes are scary. You know what I mean? He wants to fight Berlanga. He wants to fight these fights. I mean, and then what they're going to tell me is like, how are you going to be talking about Canelo's money? Because how are you going to be talking about that? He's like, you never made Canelo's money. Yeah, I've never made that fucking money, but I've never been scared of nobody. It's just like, bro, you got to look at it like that. Like, if this guy doesn't want to fight me, and everybody knows this fight's going to make the most money out of boxing, why are you not taking it? Come on, be truthful to yourself and to the people. If you don't want to fight me, just say, I don't want to fight you. It's a dangerous dude. And you would be 100% right. That'd probably be the best thing for your career and for your what's that word called?
Legacy.
That'd be the best thing for your legacy to avoid me. So I don't really, to be honest, I don't give a fuck if that fight happens. I'm gonna stay in my own lane, do my own shit, everything I gotta do. And whoever is the best in my weight division in front of me, that's who I'm gonna beat.
Right. Oh man, I can't wait. Just last one for me. I remember, I believe there was a point where you were supposed to spar Canelo. I don't know if it was for Triple G, but then like it didn't work out. You ended up sparring Triple G. Just kind of lastly tell me that story.
That's probably the smartest thing he's ever done, because I was getting ready for Triple G, and no, I was sparring Triple G, and they gave us a call the next week or that week. They're like, you know what? We know we're sparring with Triple G. We don't want him to give us our secrets away. But I would have kept them shits for myself. I would have gave Glove.
All right. Do you ever regret maybe like I don't know, did you like I don't know, ever think about the idea like, damn, had I sparred him, maybe I you know, you would have locked horns with him the way you kind of, you know.
No, if you would have sparred me, if I would have sparred, you would have never fought me. You would have never fought me, because you would have seen what level I'm at. And I'm not being cocky. I'm just telling you the truth. You know what I mean? And I don't regret anything, because when I went to go learn with Golovkin, you know, this is probably one of the best training camps I've ever had. And, you know, me and him got along. You know, when there's a person that really doesn't have ego like that, you know, Golovkin, he's a great guy, great person. He was very friendly. I don't think it would have been the same going to Canelo's camp. You know, I kind of see how Canelo is, you know, especially now. And I don't know, there would have been problems.
Well, I mean, you know, hopefully we get to see it in the ring one day. But obviously, February 1st, you know, David versus David, Benavidez versus Morrell, man, it's an incredible fight. I can't even think of like a history of a light heavyweight fight that's, you know, kind of on this level. Two undefeated guys, you know, like two Latinos. Just it's going to be explosive, man. Thank you for this fight. Thank you.
Yeah, this is going to be the fight of the year for 2020. Not fight of the year. It's going to be the KO of the year, because I'm going to knock David Morrell the fuck out.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you, brother. Thank you so much, brother, for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.